my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is the second reading of the Donkey Slaughter Regulation and Export Certification Bill 2021. The distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this chamber on Wednesday, 30th September 2020. Mr. President, with your permission, I move that the bill be read the second time.
Point of order, Mr. President.
Point of order, Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a constitutional point of order. Mr. President, ordinarily, I would expect that as Parliament, we should look at the Constitution before certain things are looked at here.
We can't hear you.
Section 4, second schedule of the Constitution, has the legislative powers. Part 1, exclusive legislative.
About, please, so that our colleagues follow you.
Exclusive legislative list, Mr. President. I can read it down, but I think anybody can go through it. There are 68 items in the exclusive legislative list. Furthermore, on the Part 2 concurrent legislative list, we also have all the items, but the basic item that is involved here is Section 17. Now, in the first part, in the exclusive legislative list, there is nothing that has to do with animals, animal husbandry, livestock. Nothing. In the second part, in the concurrent legislative list, Section 17, I can read. It says, the National Assembly may make laws for the Federation or any part thereof, A, health, safety, and welfare of persons employed to work in factories, offices, and other premises. And I can go direct to 1720. I mean the page 133 for the concurrent legislative list and page 130 for the exclusive legislative list. The essence of my point of order is that we are to make laws exclusively for what is determined in the Constitution. We do not make laws for residual matters that are left for states and local governments, as the case may be. Livestock and matters of that nature are in the residual list because they are not expressly provided for in the Constitution. I so submit.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I'm Aliu Sabi Abdullahi. I represent Niger North Senatorial District. Mr. President, let me thank very profoundly the leader for bringing this bill. I'm a veterinarian by training, and I will say also that when I was in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, the issue of donkey going into extinction in Nigeria was something raised, discussed, and approved in 2004 at the National Council of Agriculture and Rural Development meeting in Sokoto State. The concern, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is every country must be concerned about its flora and fauna because the ecosystem is designed in such a manner that the balance we are enjoying today is driven by the diversity of your flora and fauna. Today, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, as it is, this subject matter, which the minority leader is referring to, in the same constitution, the federal government is also given the right to look at research. Breeding is a research work. And this bill is therefore looking at when you don't want something to go into extinction, then you are talking about conservation management. Conservation management, whether in situ or ex situ, that is in the field or in the laboratory, is a function of research. The federal government also has right in this same constitution for research. And so, Mr. President, what we are saying simply is that suddenly from somewhere, some people have suddenly realized the value of the skin of donkey. And the population of donkey in the north, because donkeys are found mostly in the drier parts of any country. And they are used for so many things, for drought power, for farm power, and the like. And so the point we are saying is, I'm aware, we have done the studies in Gombe State. And in Gombe State, with due respect, we found people coming from Akwa Ibom to buy large population of donkey. And we interviewed them and saw that yes, there is a value chain. We are saying, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, that for us, this bill, as we see it, is something this country needs. And I think we should support it, because whenever you are talking about
we have not come to the point of discussing the bill whether to support it or not. It's simply questioning, and your explanation, I think, is apt.
Yes.
Senator Basiru.
Don't worry, I'm APC to the core. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I'm Surajuddin Ajibola Bashiru. I represent also Central Senatorial District. I rise to speak in support of the profound point of order, constitutional point of order raised by the minority leader. Is in line with the position I've canvassed severally here, even though by majority have been overruled. But for record purposes, I still want to restate the fact that the subject matter is desirable, is necessary, does not automatically confer on the federal legislative arm legislative competence to be do so. Section 1, subsection 3 of our constitution is very clear as to superiority provision, that any act or law contrary to the provision of the constitution is to the extent of that inconsistency null and void unto traverse. And the basis of our existence is the constitution. The basis of our power is in section 4 of the constitution. We make clearly to give the National Assembly 3 areas of subject matter. 1, exclusive legislative list as listed in part 1 of the second schedule of the constitution. And a part, and I use that word advisedly, a part of the concurrent list. When we talk about concurrent list, there appear to be a misconception that the fact that a subject matter is listed on concurrent list, the federal government has the power to make law. No, there is a bifurcation as to even when a matter is mentioned. For instance, archives, it has to do with a specific subject matter. The same thing here. The third area that the National Assembly can make law are specific extra, specific provision conferring legislative competence on the National Assembly. But by section 4, subsection 7 of our constitution, any other matter not so listed in the exclusive list and to which concurrent list does not confer National Assembly power are matter for legislative competence of the State Assembly. This matter has been litigated up to the Supreme Court in the case of Attorney General of Lagos State and Attorney General of Federation, when issue was in case whether the National Urban Regional Planning Law decree that was transmitted to be an existing law by section 3318 of the Constitution is valid. The Supreme Court said the question of whether regulating urban and regional planning is desirous or not is not the issue. But looking at the structure of our Constitution, when it comes to physical planning is a residual matter and therefore come within the competence of the state legislator. I want to say that the argument of whether a cattle or a donkey is going to extinction is beyond the point. The question is, as of today, on the state of our constitution, National Assembly, by the constitution that all of us sworn to uphold, does not have the competence. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, distinguished colleagues, I have listened to the arguments. Now, my understanding and ruling. What we are talking about is concerning the donkey, not the donkey for commercial purposes, but the extinction of the donkey. And I believe that we could legislate on this like any other livestock if we feel that will disproportionately destroy our ecosystem. Secondly, even if we are looking at the economic value of the donkey, not in terms of selling it, but in terms of keeping the environment balanced, I believe that we have the jurisdiction to legislate on that. And based on our Standing Orders 25H, which gives me the chance donated by you to interpret the rules, I rule that we can go ahead and take this bill. That's my ruling.